New Caitlin Clark interview going viral. We have to get into some of these clips, but it really got me thinking, man, with the Nike drop yesterday and everything that's going on. What took so long? The WNBA, Nike, they really dropped the ball in terms of
8 months. That's how long it took from Caitlin Clark's WNBA debut in May 2024 to her first signature shoe announcement in January 2025. 8 months of the most watched rookie season in league history, and Nike waited until the season was over to capitalize on it. Compare that to Victor Wembanyama, who had his first Spurs jersey available for pre-order within hours of being drafted. The contrast isn't just noticeable, it's a case study in how the WNBA continues to fumble its biggest opportunities.
Stardom. Caitlin Clark should have had shoes out her rookie year. Caitlin Clark should have been being supported by the WNBA rather than being sabotaged and targeted by the very league she is making popular single-handedly. Not to say there's not good players, but it was never popping the way she got it popping.
This isn't about whether Caitlin Clark is talented. That debate ended when she averaged 19.2 points and 8.4 assists as a rookie, while drawing 2.3 million viewers per game on ESPN, triple the league average. This is about institutional failure. The WNBA had a generational star walk through the door, and instead of rolling out the red carpet, they let her navigate a minefield of cheap shots, questionable officiating, and veteran resentment while the league office stayed conspicuously silent.
Let's get into some of these viral Caitlin Clark interview clips.
As our fans watch this video, they probably have watched your new commercial. So you got a group of people like featuring in your new commercial. What do they mean to you?
Well, I think a lot of the people that are in this commercial are either people I've met or interacted with or have been big supporters of my career this far, whether it was me from a young age or, my college coach or Travis Scott, who came to a game when I was in college. He came to senior night.
Pants.
I love it. He brought some crazy energy on senior night, or the Kelsey brothers who supported me, honestly, in college and even now professionally. So just a lot of different people that have really tuned in and really supported women's basketball, and then obviously specifically my career. So it's really fun.
Listen to how she describes the people in her Nike commercial. Travis Scott at her senior night, the Kelsey brothers supporting her in college, and the pros. Notice what's missing from that list. WNBA executives, league officials, the commissioner, the people who are supposed to be her biggest advocates are nowhere in her origin story. She's thanking a rapper and 2 NFL players for showing up, while the league she plays for was actively allowing Kennedy Carter to body check her off the ball with no flagrant foul called. That June incident wasn't an isolated moment, it was symbolic of the entire rookie season. Clark got hammered game after game while referees swallowed their whistles, and when fans pointed it out, they got labeled toxic, not by opposing players, by WNBA media members and league-adjacent voices. The very people who should have been protecting their investment were instead running interference for the veterans who resented her popularity.
Got you. I already did a research on it, so I'm gonna do the breakdown and introduction for all of them.
All right, I love it.
没错，所以我做了刚刚的这个广告解析。
As more and more people watch your commercial, your campaign, what do you hope they can take away from your campaign this time?
I think for myself, it was kind of this just belief of you can kind of achieve anything, and you have this confidence, and you can kind of do it from anywhere and make it your own. I feel like that's.
And here's where the Nike delay becomes even more inexcusable. She's talking about inspiring young girls in China, about having global reach, about people from different walks of life connecting through basketball. That's not athlete speak. That's a corporate marketing executive's fever dream. Nike had a player who could sell shoes in Des Moines and Shanghai, and they waited until January to announce a signature line that won't release until later in 2025. Think about the timeline. Clark's final college game drew 18.7 million viewers in April 2024, where by May she was the #1 draft pick. By June, Fever games were selling out arenas that had been half empty the year before. By August, the Olympic team she wasn't selected for was getting criticized for the snub, and through all of this, there was no signature shoe, no major ad campaign, no coordinated push from Nike and the WNBA to turn cultural momentum into commercial dominance.
And you have this confidence and you can kind of do it from anywhere and make it your own. I feel like that's kind of been my story of like, I have a lot of this confidence. It started, you know, in my driveway as a young kid of this belief of like wanting to be really good at basketball and spending a lot of time doing it. And, you know, my family were my biggest supporters since day one and they kind of helped build that dream with me. And then now getting to do it on the biggest stage, I think is pretty special. And hopefully, you know, I feel like inspiring the younger generation, it doesn't even have to be for them to play basketball, but for them just to achieve and believe whatever they want to. And
she keeps talking about confidence, building belief in your driveway as a kid, having family support from day one, creating your own dream and making it happen. And I'm listening to this thinking about what the WNBA could have been if they'd shown her that same confidence, if they'd believed in her the way her family did, if they'd protected her the way Iowa did, if they'd marketed her the way Nike should have from day one. Instead, we got 8 months of discourse about whether her fans were racist, whether she was getting too much attention, whether veteran players deserved more respect, all legitimate conversations. But the timing was catastrophic. You don't have those debates in public while your biggest star is getting clotheslined on national television. You have them internally, you set clear standards, and you present a united front that says we're all benefiting from this rising tide.
Or either in Indiana Fevers. But when people started to notice you already a dominant player, a winner already. But let's go back to the beginning of your basketball journey. Is there any moment you feel like basketball is a little bit challenging for you, or you're born to be a winner, you never feel like that?
That's a great question. Honestly, I feel like there's obviously a lot of challenging moments throughout my career. I feel like I probably always had a lot of natural skill, but I also wanted to get a lot better at it. So I always found ways to challenge myself. So that's probably when I felt the most challenge, is when I would, you know, whether it was a hard workout or a bad game or something like that. I feel like you find ways to challenge yourself within those moments. But I would probably say I always kind of had a natural skill for it and just a knack for basketball, but I also really loved it and wanted to get better at it.
Watch her face when she talks about going to China. That's genuine excitement about expanding the game globally. She understands what Nike understands, what the NBA figured out 30 years ago. Basketball is an international product, and stars are the currency that buys you access to new markets. Yao Ming opened China for the NBA. Dirk Nowitzki made Germany a basketball country. Caitlin Clark could do the same for women's basketball, but only if the infrastructure supports her. And that's the part that keeps getting overlooked in all the CBA negotiations and revenue sharing debates. The WNBA is arguing over how to split a pie that could be 10 times bigger if they just learned how to market their stars properly. Clark proved the audience exists. The Fever went from 1,000 to 1,800 fans per game in 2023 to sellouts in 2024. That's not a marginal increase. That's proof of concept.
That's a great question. Honestly, I feel like there's obviously a lot of challenging moments throughout my career. I feel like I probably always had a lot of natural skill, but I also wanted to get a lot better at it. So I always found ways to challenge myself. So that's probably when I felt the most challenge, is when I would, you know, whether it was a hard workout or a bad game or something like that. I feel like you find ways to challenge yourself within those moments. But I would probably say I always kind of had a natural skill for it and just a knack for basketball, but I also really loved it and wanted to get better at it.
经过一番尝试之后，我们在黑暗中重新开始了这个问题。
In China, like people notice you.
She mentions being in boys' leagues as a kid because there weren't enough opportunities for girls. Then pivots to talking about how things are changing now, how more young girls will have chances she didn't have. That's the leadership the WNBA should be amplifying, not the veteran players complaining about attention, not the media members writing think pieces about whether her popularity is fair, the player who's actually living the dream and wants to expand it for the next generation. But here's what frustrates me about the whole situation. It didn't have to be this complicated. The blueprint existed. The NBA spent decades perfecting how to build stars, protect them from excessive physicality, market them globally, and turn individual popularity into league-wide growth. Magic and Bird saved the league in the 80s. Jordan took it global in the 90s. LeBron maintained that momentum into the social media era. Every step of the way, the league office supported their stars because they understood that rising stars lift all boats.
As a young girl, you play in boys league because at that time your dad couldn't find a girls league for you.
Yeah.
But right now things has changed a little bit. So in the future, what do you want to see, like, or the things for girls basketball to be improved?
Yeah, I think just like more and more opportunities, and I think that's exactly what's happening because there's going to be more and more young girls that love basketball or love another sport and believe that they can be really good at it. And I think it kind of starts with the stage that I'm playing on right now. The more we can be on TV and the more people can come and watch us and buy a ticket, or we can go to places like China or wherever it's at globally to help grow the game and allow people to see us play basketball, I think is a really important and powerful thing when you really get to see people you idolize up close. Those were some of the most impactful moments of my childhood.
The way she describes watching players up close as a kid, how impactful those moments were, that's exactly what the WNBA should be manufacturing on an industrial scale. Get Clark in front of as many young girls as possible. Signature shoes in stores where kids can see them. Youth camps with her name attached. International tours during the off-season. Every single touch point is an opportunity to create the next generation of fans who grow up wanting to be like her. Instead, we're past Christmas 2024, and the CBA still isn't done. Players are exhausted from negotiations. Fans are exhausted from the uncertainty. And meanwhile, Unrivaled is about to tip off in January with WNBA stars playing 3-on-3 because the league couldn't figure out how to keep them engaged in the offseason. That's not player empowerment. That's institutional failure creating a vacuum that competitors are rushing to fill. So let's talk about what this actually cost the WNBA, because the numbers tell a brutal story. Caitlin Clark's rookie season generated an estimated $240 million in additional economic activity for the league, according to sports business analysts. That includes ticket sales, merchandise, media rights value, and sponsorship increases. The Fever's local TV ratings increased 1,037% compared to 2023, not 43%, 1,437%. Those aren't normal growth numbers. That's a seismic shift in consumer behavior. And what did the league do with that momentum? They let it dissipate over an off-season filled with CBA drama and uncertainty about whether there would even be a 2025 season. Imagine if Apple launched the iPhone and then spent 6 months publicly arguing with their engineers about profit sharing, while Samsung rushed a competitor to market. That's essentially what happened here. The WNBA had lightning in a bottle and forgot to put the cap on. The Nike delay is particularly egregious because signature shoes are how basketball players become cultural icons. Kids don't just watch games. They buy shoes, wear them to school, argue about whose signature line is better. That's how you build generational fandom. Jordan Brand generates over $5 billion annually, 30 years after Michael Jordan retired. Those aren't basketball fans buying retro Jordans. Those are people who grew up idolizing him and passed that loyalty to their kids. Caitlin Clark could have had that same trajectory, should have had it. Instead, Nike waited till January 2025 to announce a shoe that won't release until mid-2025 at the earliest. That means Clark's entire historic rookie season happened without a signature product on shelf. Every kid who watched her drop 30 points and wanted to buy her shoes, they bought LeBrons or Kobe's or Curry's instead. That's not just lost revenue, that's lost cultural imprinting. And the WNBA's role in this failure can't be overstated. The league office should have been coordinating with Nike from the moment Clark declared for the draft. They should have had a marketing plan ready to execute the day she was selected first overall. Instead, we got passive observation, while their biggest star got targeted by opposing players and criticized by league veterans for being too popular. Commissioner Kathy Engelbert could have shut down the negativity immediately. One press conference saying, "We celebrate all our stars. We won't tolerate dangerous play regardless of who it's aimed at, and we're thrilled that Caitlin Clark is bringing new fans to the league." That's it. That's all it would have taken to set the tone. Instead, we got silence from the league office while players like Chennedy Carter and Dejanai Carrington took shots at Clark on social media, creating a narrative that her popularity was somehow problematic. The referee situation was even worse. Clark got mauled game after game with no protection from officials. The Chennedy Carter body check in June should have been an immediate flagrant 2 and suspension. Instead, it was upgraded to a flagrant 1 after the game, and Carter faced no further discipline. That sent a clear message to every defender in the league. You can get physical with Clark, and the refs will let it slide. Compare that to how the NBA protects its star. When Zaza Pachulia took out Kawhi Leonard with a dangerous closeout in the 2017 playoffs, the league reviewed it, admitted they missed the call, and spent the next season emphasizing closeout discipline in officiating meetings. When Grayson Allen gave a dangerous foul to Alex Caruso in 2021, he got suspended immediately. The NBA understands that protecting star players isn't favoritism, it's good business. The WNBA could have learned from that. They chose not to, and the result was 8 months of Caitlin Clark getting hammered while the league office pretended it was normal physicality. It wasn't. The data backs this up. Clark took more hard fouls per game than any other player in the league. According to tracking data from the 2024, that's not coincidence. That's targeted aggression that officials allowed to continue. Now let's talk about the CBA disaster, because this is where the institutional dysfunction becomes impossible to ignore. The current collective bargaining agreement expired in October 20. We're now in late December, past Christmas, and there's still no deal. Players are in limbo. Free agency is frozen. Fans don't know if there will be a 2025 season, and the people negotiating are the same ones who should be focused on capitalizing on the Caitlin Clark momentum. The players' union wants a larger revenue share, guaranteed contracts, better travel conditions, and improved maternity benefits, all reasonable demands. The league says they're operating at a loss and can't afford major increases without revenue growth, also reasonable. But here's the problem. Both sides are arguing over how to split revenue that could be exponentially larger if they just figure out how to market the product properly. Caitlin Clark proved the audience exists. The infrastructure to reach that audience is broken. Fix the infrastructure, grow the revenue, then negotiate the split. Instead, we're watching two sides fight over percentages while the actual dollar amount shrinks because fans are losing interest in the dysfunction. An unrivaled launching in January is a direct consequence of this failure. When the WNBA couldn't provide off-season engagement or financial security, players created their own alternative. Brianna Stewart and Nafisa Collier founded a 3-on-3 league with higher pay and equity stakes for players. That's not competition. That's an indictment. When your own players are building alternative leagues because they don't trust you to run the existing one properly, you've lost the plot. The Caitlin Clark situation crystallizes all of this. She came into the league as the most marketable player in WNBA history, bigger than Diana Taurasi, bigger than Sue Bird, bigger than anyone, because she arrived with a built-in audience from her college career. And the league, Nike, and the players' union all failed to capitalize on it in real time. Nike should have had shoes ready for her rookie season. The WNBA should have protected her from dangerous play and supported her publicly. The players' union should have recognized that her rising tide was lifting all boats and defended her against veteran resentment. None of that happened. Instead, we got 8 months of dysfunction, followed by a CBA stalemate, followed by a shoe announcement that came 6 months too late. Here's what should happen next, because there's still time to salvage this. The CBA needs to get done immediately, not in February, not after unrivaled finishes. Now, every day without a deal is a day fans lose confidence in the league's stability. Once that's resolved, the WNBA needs to build a comprehensive marketing plan around Caitlin Clark's second season that actually treats her like the franchise player she is. That means coordinating with Nike to flood the market with her signature shoes when they release. That means scheduling fever games in primetime slots and promoting them aggressively. That means sending Clark on international tours during the off-season to build the global audience she's clearly capable of reaching. That means protecting her from dangerous play with consistent officiating and public support from the commissioner's office. And most importantly, it means the league office needs to stop being passive observers of their own product. Kathy Engelbert needs to be out front, selling the WNBA with the same energy that Adam Silver sells the NBA. That means media appearances, corporate partnerships, aggressive expansion plans, and a clear vision for where the league is headed. Right now, it feels like the WNBA is just hoping things work out. Hope isn't a strategy. The Caitlin Clark opportunity cost is already massive. 8 months of her rookie season without signature shoes on shelves, an entire offseason consumed by CBA uncertainty, international markets that could have been cultivated cultivated sitting untapped, but the cost gets exponentially worse if the WNBA doesn't learn from these mistakes, because Clark isn't going to stay this patient forever. She's already talking about China with genuine excitement. If the WNBA can't provide the infrastructure to support her global ambitions, someone else will. So here's my question for you. How much longer does Caitlin Clark give the WNBA to get its act together before she starts exploring other options? Because if I'm her agent, I'm looking at how the league handled her rookie season, how long the CBA negotiation has dragged on, and how Unrivaled is providing what the WNBA couldn't, and I'm asking serious questions about whether this league deserves her loyalty. What do you think? Drop your take in the comments, hit subscribe if you want more WNBA analysis that doesn't sugarcoat the dysfunction, and let's see if the league can actually learn from this disaster before they waste the rest of Caitlin Clark's prime.